You know Eric? You know host Eric?
I don't think Eric pays much attention to chat ever.
Rarely, sometimes, not. Only through his YouTube videos. Will you be interested in debating him? And what are the topics that you like? How much can you read about something, let's say MBTI or socionics, before you get like exhausted, or you can't digest what you're reading? Are you good at brainstorming? First of all, or do you think you're either INTP or INFJ? Why not some other types? How many profiles did you read? All 16? All right. All right then. If, what is the thing that irritates you? The thing that you hate if somebody does that to you? Like your ultimate pet peeve. What do you mean haven't prepared before saying something out loud?
Like he wants people to know what they're talking about.
I don't think that's an INTP thing, to be honest.
No, I don't think so either. But INTJ is what he said he was.
That's a TE thing, what he said, what Blanky said. TI people, it doesn't matter if you know what you're talking about or not, as long as it makes sense, like logically, like it follows the chain of.
Yeah, but INTJ, that's TE.
Yeah, but then again, ENTJs are also TE. ISTJs are also TE. But since that maybe it's his pet peeve, he might be TE polar, which means INFJ or ISFJ. what's the thing that you think you're good at, or like in a way that you are better than most people at it? Yeah, I think. But if something isn't consistent, they will call it wrong.
And like it doesn't bother us that much unless it happens a lot.
If something is consistent, it can be wrong in the TE way. What I mean is, some things are wrong, but they are consistent with the premises or something. So it's not annoying. For example, you can say it's wrong to punch a cat in the face, right? Is it wrong to punch a cat in the face?
Yes.
Well, give me an example of an inaccurate statement. Or talk. Can you use your mic? But do you have something to back up your 70% claim and they don't have for their 20% claim? Or you both just saying things you believe in, but nobody has anything? What do you mean if I read more on the topic, I could find reasons? What do you mean by that? Well, it can annoy me, or it can't. It depends. It can annoy me if it's like a crucial thing to the debate we're having, it won't annoy me if he's just saying that. Probably
but-
wouldn't give a shit about him.
But the thing is the difference in level of annoyance. Like he's saying that's the worst thing, which is obviously isn't to us.
Yeah,
Like it's annoying, but it's not like a pet peeve that we have to attack.
yeah. It looks like TE value. Yeah, it is annoying. It is annoying if you value TE, I'd say. Then again, when you say the Earth is filled, it's not finding TE annoying. It's not finding TE annoying, but when you say the Earth is filled 73% of water, that's like a TE statement. And in TE, or not in TE, that statement cannot be like challenged, or for someone who values TE, that statement is nobody has the right to say no to that statement and say it's 50 or something, you know. But for someone who doesn't value TE, they don't care. They might challenge it. You say, well, where did you get the statistics from? Or for example, or maybe they're not counting, or they will say, well, is that about the sea, the oceans, or the water that we also drink? Are you taking into consideration the air, or is just land versus water? Stuff like that. Well, what if he's wrong? What if that environmentalist is writing the paper, but the paper itself is based off something that doesn't make sense? Or if he is wrong, he can be challenged. But how do you know if he's wrong or not if you don't challenge him? That's the most annoying thing to you, Suzanne? Susanna?
Yeah, I believe lies or dishonesty.
I'm the president of Canada.
Yeah, I also don't like lies, but the most annoying thing to me is when someone tries to force me to accept something, or, you know?
Yeah, but isn't that a lie in a way?
Well, not necessarily, because maybe to them they believe in that thing.
Yeah, but you don't.
Yeah, I don't.
What if I say like every single male is 6 foot? Is it like a kind of lie that you don't like?
It's slightly annoying because it's
Okay.
wrong.
It's not, to me that is funny, because I know it's not true.
No, it's more like, why do you say that? You know it's not true.
Every single male has a 12-inch schlong
That's
Yeah.
just silly.
from birth. From birth.
Every man should have a big dick.
True.
I don't even know where that came from. I started saying a sentence and I forgot what I was going to say, and that's what I came up with.
Oh, yeah. Are you both looking at the same cat? Yeah, I can find many reasons why we're both correct. Yeah, one of us are colorblind. One of us might be colorblind, or just the angle of the light, or I don't know. There are curtains that are black,
Yeah.
blue, and they,
Different perception.
yeah. Or maybe the cat is black and white from his left side, and black and blue from the right side, and he's in the middle. He's between you two, so everyone is seeing. Everybody is saying exactly what they see. So do you think he is annoying? In fact, he's not colorblind. No, he's not, because, as I said, the cat could be in between you, and one side of the cat has blue, the other side has white. So you're both correct. If all the variables are the same for both people. It won't be necessarily annoying.
But could it be, since we're like perceiving types and they're judging types, that we are more inclined to accept other people's perceptions?
What if you're senile? What if you're senile and the cat isn't even there?
Then the variables are not the same.
The thing about what you said, Susanna, I think it's more of an NE thing, because
NE.
INTPs, yeah, they perceive in MBTI, but they actually the leading function is a judging one. The TI DOMs. They're not
Yeah.
really flexible.
Yeah, but we don't really put too much shit on others, if that makes any sense.
Well, maybe SE polar. That's why.
Yeah, that sort of makes sense.
Yeah. So to answer your question, Blanky, if all variables are the
Yeah.
same, would
We
that
are
annoy?
SE polar. We don't know what the fuck is going on, and we sort of accept it some of the times. Maybe not.
Maybe, yeah, maybe not. SE polar, I think it's like not being assertive, or not acting upon things you believe in or say. Or anyways, Blanky, so you said if all variables are the same for both people, right? And one is saying this and the other is saying different things about the same object, that will not annoy me, but it will make me try to find the reason why we're both not seeing the same thing, even if we both should be seeing the same thing, because it's inconsistent. If we both have the same, we both are the same, the variables are both the same for both of us, and we're looking at the same thing, we should see the same thing. But if each one of us see different things, then it's inconsistent. There must be a reason. I have to find it. It's not annoying as much as it is interesting. Like the fact that lie. When I say it's interesting, I'm assuming that they're not lying. But if I keep checking, like their eyes, they have good eyesight, they have, they're not colorblind, and so am I. We're looking at the same thing, and I go through all the things I can think about that may cause the problem, and I find nothing. Then I know that one of us is lying or saying things that they're not seeing. Basically, yeah, lying. And that's the time when it will become annoying. But still, I will maybe leave the benefit of the doubt, because maybe there is a variable that has a role that I couldn't think of. I couldn't say, hey, what if this, while quote unquote this is the thing that changes my perception or the other person's perception. Yeah, it will. But it doesn't make me angry. That's what I say by not annoying. That's what I meant. I mean, I can see people lying through their teeth, but I'm like, it just makes me go, well, why is this person lying? Like, for example, you are with a person or you know someone, and there's another person, and they start lying to them to appear something that they are not. You know, like I have this, yeah, I have this nice car or something like that, some silly things. Then I know, like, well, why are you doing this? I know that they're lying. Uh, I think that will be true for SE DOMs, not necessarily NE DOMs. And more ESTP would be true for ESTPs than ESFPs. Could be true for all, but like if I have to classify them by order of who does that most, I'd say ESTPs are number one at doing that. Then maybe ESFPs and NE DOMs, I don't think they do that at all. Maybe you can see that they do that, I don't. Well, if he tries to bring his thinking into reality, that's not NE, that's SE. Was so stupid it was made into. Yeah, he is ENTP. That doesn't mean that he doesn't use SE. SE is his role function. And the fact that the thing where he gets mad over stuff like that is because of TI, I would say. Because if it makes sense to him, and the people who tell him not to do it don't have a reason that makes sense to him, then why would he not do it? You know what I mean? Unless you can prove him wrong, he is right until you prove him wrong. For example, if I say it is okay to own a pen, it is okay to own paper, it is okay to draw, it is okay to share your drawings. I draw a car and someone say, hey, don't share that. Why wouldn't I? And that person says, I don't share the car. I like motorcycles. You shouldn't share cars. You just draw motorcycles and then share them. Doesn't make sense, does it? I'll just draw a car and share it, and if I want to, you know. I don't think TI is a reality to the individual. Because I think TI is objective. TI is about the logical relation between objects, or by objective I don't mean it is my reality, but I mean it is something that can be disputed. For example, going back to the example of drawing and stuff, we can both argue. So you are saying it can be disputed. Yep. It's impersonal, TI. That's why TI people can be never mind this. But yeah, it can be disputed. If going back to the argument about drawing cars and sharing those pictures, you can see the logic behind that, can you? And you can argue against it if you want to. So if we can both argue against it, yeah, then it's objective. Why is it subjective? Yeah, what about that? That's an E, I would say. That's not understanding of different realities. that is coming up trying to figure out as much reasons or excuses or whatever you want to call it for that thing to be true, and then see which one of them are wrong in order to find which one of them is true. It's in the so the true ones, they're not necessarily many ones that are true. It could be only one. What do you mean true ones are the realities? There could be only one true, or could be more. Being colorblind can be true. Only that, or maybe the person is colorblind, and we're not looking at the same cat. So those are two of those statements are correct. It doesn't mean that there are two. Those are two realities. Yeah, but it is valid. For the, what do you mean for the individual? It is not valid for person. It is the situation. It's the analysis of the whole situation. It is valid for everybody. It is a valid analysis of the whole thing, and is valid for the other person. Yeah. What do you mean the person's point of view? If everything, the two subjects, yeah. What about them? Yes, what about them? Like the fact that they see different things, but there is no, but all those situations that will make it possible for them to see different things are proved wrong, which means they're supposed to see the same thing. Is that your question? Then what about them? Which one of them is seeing the thing? So if one is colorblind, the person can see something different. Yeah. If one is colorblind, he probably sees the color differently than one who is not, depending on the type of color blindness he has. Yeah, you can understand different views. Why do you going back to the boob thing with Eric? I don't know why you're linking it to that. Oh, all right. We weren't talking about it at the beginning, but yeah, whatever. About any bringing to the external and SE DOMs. Yeah, like who tries to impose his reality? I said ESTPs first. Yeah, I said ESTPs first. And people wouldn't do that. But you have to know that ENTPs are SE role. The role function is SE, so you could use it if you want. And they use it. But I still don't. I have to understand SE role more. What I was getting at. Yeah, what you, because I also don't understand exactly what you want, or what you mean by imposing their reality. Yeah, continue. I'm reading. If that's all you have to type, then I'd say the NE I would say NE DOMs will just assume that you are wrong, you know, and they are right. SE though, ESCPs will assume that you are wrong and they are right, and they will try to subdue you into believing in the same thing they believe in. Yeah, that would be true to an extent. And his intuition of is about potential, right? Or new stuff, or so they don't necessarily try to change things
Hello, Eric.
as much as they try to understand things. Hi, Eric.
Alright.
Well, Eric, so we're talking here with the Blanky about NE and SE,
Oh, cool.
about maybe NE DOMs try to impose their reality on people.
Any DOMs try to impose their reality on people?
Yeah, along with SE DOMs. I said, in my opinion, SE DOMs are the one who do that. Primarily ESCPs. I don't think NE DOMs do it, though. Maybe a little bit, but they don't try to impose their reality. They just assume that you are wrong and move on. SE DOMs will assume that you are wrong and try to subdue you into believing in what they believe.
Well, I think that the thing is, any DOMs are satisfied with imposing their metaphysical reality. It doesn't matter to me so much what the thing is as why it is, you know? So that's the difference, is SE DOMs are much more linked to TE because they have like an outcome they want. NE DOMs are much more linked to TI because we just want what you say to be consistent with other shit. And if it is, then we don't really care if you do it or not. You know, it's like, I'm not saying you should actually pick up your clothes off the floor. I'm saying you should agree with me that you should pick up your clothes off the floor. That's an issue that concerns me. Whether or not you actually pick up the clothes from the floor, that is not an issue that concerns me. Whether or not you agree with me regarding whether or not you ought to pick them up, that concerns me.
Yeah, that would be the case, Blanky. Do you read the chat, Eric?
I'll open it right now. Good point, he says. Yeah, we impose realities metaphysically, but the thing about imposed metaphysical realities is other people don't take them as seriously as we do. Like, to me, it makes a huge big deal, and it's very, very real whether you say blah or blah, you know. But other people don't get the fact that once you've conceded that point, then the rest of the universe works off that assumption. So you can't backpedal at all. Or if you do, you have to acknowledge that you backpedal, or else the universe breaks. You don't want to break the universe, do you? I hope not. I do want to break the universe, Eric. I'm a universe breaker. My name is Blanky.
All the blankies.
All of the blankies in the world.
But is that necessarily an NE thing, SE or ITE?
Well, if you have NE and you have TE, then you're INFP or ENFP. So obviously, NE functions a lot better with TI than it does with TE, because ENFPs and INFPs are less well functioning in general than are the NTPs, and it's largely because the NFPs can't really manage the objective world very well. So while I'm excessively metaphysical, perhaps, at least it's constrained by TI so that it's not arbitrary metaphysical. That's the problem with the FITENE people, ENFP and INFP, is they've got metaphysical action, but they've got a physical evaluatory metric. So that's not a good way to, it's like you're guaranteed to always be wrong almost.
Not necessarily.
What up, dog? What? You want me calling you dog? What up? What up, homie? What up, girl fresh? What up, shouty? What up? What do you want? What are you looking at me for? Okay. Don't call her dog. Don't call her homie. Gosh.
Yeah, you said when you were talking about NE, you said ENFP and INFP, and then you said ENTP and INTP, right?
Because that's NETI is the NTPs and NEFI is the NFPs.
Yeah, but that's not necessarily true.
NETIFE is ENFP and INFP.
Yeah, I know, but you can. But if you go only by NE, then the ENTP will have the same NE as INFP.
Right. That's why I'm saying you want it paired with TI, not with FI.
No, you have the same NE as INFP. If you go by the charges in socionics.
Oh well, I don't use that.
Right, because
it's a way to inaccurately approximate the metaphysical physical directionality thing that I correctly identify.
No, don't think so.
Okay, then how's it different? I mean, explain to me why they are compatible and not exclusive.
What do you mean compatible, not exclusive?
Well, what I'm saying is we begin with the dichotomy of you're either moving from physical to metaphysical or vice versa, and you're saying, well, there are these charges. So, all right, well, what's the charge of the INFPs NE?
Plus.
And the same with the ENTP, right?
Yep.
All right, so here's the deal. In the dominant function, you're talking about something that takes information from the physical world, turns it into metaphysical action. In the second function, as a tool function, same thing. But the problem is it's an order of operations. So If you go through an evaluatory metric first, especially a subjective evaluatory metric first, then that frames the way that your NE behaves. In other words, you're coming up with possibilities regarding your subjective evaluatory metrics information. Whereas with the ENTP, we are taking metaphysical action foremost and first with everything as a default, and then checking to make sure that it's good enough metaphysical action to keep, and that's the TI. So when you say plus or minus NE, it may or may not be compatible with this reality of order of operations and directionality. So if you're saying it is compatible, then okay. Or if you're saying it's unrelated, then okay. But what's the difference between plus and minus NE? Like, why does INTP have a different NE than INFP and ENTP?
It is the... Wait, let me think about it for a second. Positivist, negativist dichotomy.
Okay, well, my thing is, I'd rather have an understanding of plus and minus as being basically usages that everybody has. I can either use my NE to build, or I can use my NE to destroy. And that's just how shit goes in the world. It's nothing worth noting, really.
That's not what the positivist negativist thing is.
Okay, then explain what it is.
It's more about the... Do you know when Megabro keeps talking about negative feedback loop or positive feedback loop?
Yeah.
That's it.
But that doesn't work. I've explored that idea. It doesn't actually work. It doesn't make any sense. There's no such thing as a negative or positive feedback loop within cognition. And the reason that's obviously the case, if you had a positive feedback loop, then it would be runaway. There's no constraints. And if you had a negative feedback loop, then it wouldn't do anything. And regardless, most things don't function like that. And regardless, they're qualities of the thing you're cognating about, not the cognitive function itself. So in other words, sets of ideas are closed or open according to a variety of different mechanisms. Whether or not they require, the systems have feedback loops that are associated with it, not cognitive functions. It doesn't make any sense at all. But there's no feedback loops. It doesn't make any sense.
When the cognitive functions like send and receive information between each other, how do they do it then?
Well, remembering, of course, that a cognitive function is actually a manner of paying attention, a way of paying attention. So when we talk about, say, positive or negative feedback loops, we're missing the point, because all we're talking about is how do you pay attention? How do I pay attention to the world? I pay attention to it by hearing what Casual said and just start like spreading up ideas. And then my TI goes, well, meow, 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 meaning what? My TI goes. That means I'm accustomed to paying attention in the following back and forth thing. Idea check, idea check, idea check, idea check, idea check, idea check, and then double check with the FV, and then, okay, fine, solid set, put it in the SI. That's how I function. And it's a matter of paying attention in certain ways and shifting attention to focus on going from logical consistency to impact on the group, to impact on people's emotions, to how I'm being perceived, to logical consistency, back and forth, right? It's that's how cognition works. You're paying attention.
But how do you pay attention?
How do you pay attention? Okay, like,
well, when you say
in order to have an accurate model, you need to perceive yourself as an individual within your head who's making decisions. And the reality is, you perceive the data coming in through your senses, and whether or not you are focused on the data as it is in the moment in the sensation, or whether you're focused on it in some other way, is contingent on which manner of attention is your default. For me, I'll pull in little bits of information from the outside world, but most of the activities inside my head. My eyes scan the room until they bring in something into my attention that give me something to metaphysically work off of, you know. And it's just there's no room for unnecessary complications like feedback loops. You don't need them.
You still, when I say how do you receive information, I'm saying specifically within one cognitive function, because you said you operate on idea check. But how do you check? Or how do you come up with the idea?
Okay, well, how do I come up with the idea is because I'm a default idea comer-upper with her, then everything I see, everything I hear, everything whatever is going to be translated into idea work in terms of speaking. Now, occasionally that's not the case. If I'm in a fucked up spot or something goes wrong or whatever, like when my dog died, I spent a week not doing that. I spent a week in SI, remembering about my dog and doing basic SI shit, like doing the laundry and stuff like that. And the reason is because I was shocked out of my default. But yeah, if we don't need any sort of feedback loops, plus or minus, directionality, whatever, it doesn't make sense that paying attention would be that complicated. It's just a simple matter of, as far as plus and minuses go, that you use your functions in different ways. That for me, FI, I can use it positively or negatively, even though it's bipolar. I can experience good feelings or bad feelings. I can be motivated by my feelings to act vengefully, or I can be motivated by them to act kindly or something. Regardless, you don't need any feedback loops for that to be the case. You don't need any.
Looking at something, experiencing positive or negative emotions has no relation whatsoever with whether it's a negative feedback loop that does that or a positive feedback loop.
I know.
So why you give it as an example to refute the
because
positive?
You can't give me an example of something that is contingent upon that.
Whether or not you see the idea that you get closely, or like as part of something that is vague or from afar, you know?
Like the thing you're saying, vague and from afar?
Yeah, like whether you only see idea very closely and then move to when you see another idea very closely, or do you see like a helicopter view and there are multiple ideas there and you just
So which cognitive function do I have? Why? Explain to me this. The reason, Eric, you're blah 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 is because of this thing that I'm saying.
Wait, let me think about it.
Yeah. In other words, the shit you're saying doesn't mean shit. You have no idea what it means. It just works.